Hey guys, Future Mike here. I don't know what happened to the other half of the Answer the Call podcast, so here it is, part two uploaded for you. Sorry it's a couple days late, but I did what I could. We had so many issues with this podcast. I don't know what happened, but again, I really hope you enjoyed the conversation with Saurus, and I enjoyed it myself, and I am looking forward to having another one with him. Enjoy the video. Thanks for your patience, guys. The game is played in the client on your computer.
It is played on the website right now.
That's the problem. Is the game is not supposed to be played on the website, is how I should have said it. You know, and that's the most frustrating thing.
How about all of the ships that aren't able to be purchased are able to be purchased?
So do you mean like a Vandal Scythe?
I'm not. Well, the Vandal Scythe was for sale. That's the only way you could have ever gotten it. And the only other way.
I'm sorry, I misunderstand the point then.
So the F8C Lightning, we're never going to sell it. Don't worry, we're never going to sell it. And then what happens is it turns into a reward for concierge. And now I have two of them. And it's like, well, this was something that, like, if you would have just put this in the game for people to earn, then it's like you see it, you know that person earned it. And I was really hoping they were going to do this with the ROC because they didn't really announce any sales about it or anything like that for the longest time. And it was obvious everybody knew it was in. And I was like, fuck, are they finally going to do it? Are they finally going to put it in the game and making it a crazy price, man? Don't put it in line with the other ground vehicles. Make it the same price as like the mining chip. No, make it the same price as the Prospector. Sure. That's still a shit ton of money.
Yeah, and it can earn more than the Prospector. So yeah, you should probably,
And make it so that's how you got to get it in game. Yeah. And they didn't do that. And it's like, okay, well.
And it really comes down to this, is you hear a lot of people go, I'm going to wait to earn that in game, right? I like that ship. I'm going to wait to earn it in game. And that's all fine and great, right? But when you look over your shoulder, and this is where like pay to win comes in, is what is winning in Star Citizen? In my opinion, it's having fun and knowing that the guy next to you did the same amount of effort to do the same thing as you, right? Like if I had this armor, like you've mentioned like a million times so far, it's the prestige factor. Like there's some things that have prestige in the game. For me, MMOs, there's lots of prestige ladders in MMOs, and that's what makes them so great. That's what draws me to them, and it's what draws you to them as well. Other people are drawn to MMOs for other reasons, okay? But in general, that's what draws it for me. So I can only express how I feel. And for me, what winning is that level of prestige. And when Johnny Big Wallet over here can gather that prestige without ever making any effort in the game, it doesn't have any prestige. And the 890 jump was the perfect example. That ship is so fancy, but the fact that you can just
buy it,
you know, and the worst part is you can just go in debt. Like you might not even have the money and you're buying an 890 jump for the fear of missing out, like things like that. It's it's just not good. It's not good just generally, but it's also like in what I really want to attribute to is it's just not good for the game and the game's health overall. Because what's the point of earning it if Johnny Big Wallet did it in 5 minutes? You know, he went to work for a couple weeks and that was it.
What I think bothers me the most is, and this is a recurring theme with both of us, is that they sell everything.
Literally everything.
Literally everything, including the things that they say they're not going to sell.
Yeah.
The F8C Lightning is not an someone's saying in chat that it's an exception, but it's not an exception because you can buy it. It just has one of the biggest price tags out of all of them.
It's just a $10,000 ship. That's all.
You just have to spend $10,000 and then you have it. It's the equivalent of buying it.
Yeah.
It's not. It goes beyond just ships, but it's frustrating because every ship is for sale. Every single one. Yeah. There's never a time when they're like, okay, we're gonna put this one in and whatever. And I got frustrated when I think about it. I even get more frustrated because when the flyable ships do come in, they don't even put them in the game. The fact that not every flyable ship is able to be purchased or rented in game right now, even as a placeholder, is so ridiculous.
Well, it can
right?
be now.
And they could be for a while.
Well, no, but I'm saying that they can, like, you can buy every single flyable ship minus the ones that they are, like, the Vandal Scythe and some of those, like, reskin, like the Avenger Titan Renegade and stuff. But every base model is actually purchasable in the game at this time, as of 3.10.1. Because they finally put the reliance in.
Maybe there's some things that I've missed.
Yeah, it's okay, but everything is available. But the thing that I think you're trying to get to is the fact that they're also purchasable on the website. Nothing exists that is only purchasable in game.
Yeah, and the only things that do are just so trivial and so irrelevant that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Weapons and armor.
Yeah. Why are we not putting ships that are purchasable only in game? What do you think the people who make excuses would argue against that?
CIG needs to make money.
Oh,
that's
their
the answer.
business. Yeah, it's their business.
They're
but aren't they in the business of making a game?
Right. And just because they need to do that, does that mean that every single ship that they create? And when you think about it this way, I'm going to explain it in a way that might frustrate some people. Every single ship, especially the straight to flyable ships, have already been paid for. And so you're paying for the ability to pay for things. So what I mean by that is
you're paying so they can make the next one.
Yeah, the ROC, for example, right? They sell it on an individual basis, but they've already built it. And the way that they've already built it is we've already paid for that time and that development cost for them to make that. And then they go ahead and sell it. And so it's even more egregious to me when we're getting these straight to flyable ships. It's less so when it's a concept ship. And the reason for that is it's not done yet. So you could say that money that's being funded for that ship or vehicle is for specifically for that. So it's you're taking that money specifically and paying them to build that and do that over time. Whereas a straight to flyable ship is already paid for.
Yeah.
It's done. Everything's there. And then they say, okay, well, here it is. You guys paid us everything that they do. We paid for already. So they're like, okay, you paid us to make this. Here, pay us for this. And when you look at it that way, it's so incredibly frustrating that it's like, why can't this just be one of those things that you just put in the game? And then the problem is if they were to do that, because I thought about this and I brought this up with my channel, I'm like, what if they did, because we still get concepts or semi-concepts like this latest ship, but we also get straight to flyable like the ROC. What if they did the concepts or semi-concepts as a sale item and the straight to flyable stuff, they just put it right into the game? Well, the problem is we would see a lack of straight to flyable things.
Yeah. Because again, it goes back to the fact that they absolutely they are making record numbers, but they don't want it, they need it.
Right.
It's hard to argue that they don't need it's an absolute necessity. I
want to address something that somebody said in chat, because I think this is a common this is a common thing, right? And it's from Stimson, and he says just because it's on sale doesn't mean you have to buy it. And that's right. As a matter of fact, I've given away every ship that I've ever purchased. And I will not be buying any more ships. My problem isn't with the fact that I can buy it. My problem is with the fact that because everything is buyable, it directly affects the game.
Yeah.
And it directly affects the way that I look at the game. So once again, going back to my WoW mount analogy, now when I look at an 890 jump, I know that person didn't earn it. I know they just bought it.
Yeah.
And even the fact that you can buy it in game doesn't change that opinion, because the majority of them now or in the future, it was for sale. So I assume that
don't know. It's because you don't know.
And there's no distinction between a purchase and non.
It'd be nice at this point.
Something as small as like an interior bobblehead
Yeah.
if you bought it in game or whatever. It needs to be something a lot more than that. And the closest thing they could do that without doing the ships is doing the skins. The skins thing is a whole other thing that pisses me off, and that was sort of the straw that broke my back for a lot of these things in Star Citizen, and got me to start looking at, okay, now I really want to start to find something. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I don't like saying it, but it's true. I'm excited to find something now that gave me the same excitement that Star Citizen did, so I can branch off into that instead.
Do you think if they started prioritizing the things like progression, like achievements,
it would
like
excite me again.
prestige,
Yeah.
it would excite you again? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
But they need to do it seriously. They could start off by doing small things and showing that they're going in the right direction.
Yep. That's all it
But
takes.
I also feel this way, and I don't know if this is recoverable. I think that they may have gone down a road too far already. And once again, I'm going to use my WoW analogy. They have about 25 mounts that you can buy on the store. The only way you get those mounts is by buying them. The other 500 of them are only earnable in game. The problem is, especially because the ships are the biggest and the most noticeable and everything else, is that I think for it to have that, I think it needs to be more than a skin. I think that the skins are nice, and just like armor and weapons and stuff like that, I think that those are nice as well. But I think the majority of things should be earnable only in game. And I think that we have so many ships now, and being as they all have a price tag on them, I think that might be ruined. And I don't know if there's I don't think there's a way for them to come back from that. Because I think the only way of coming back from that is having a large majority of the ships only earnable in game.
I think there is, and it's not the best solution, but I do feel somewhat similarly to you, where the idea of the ship hull is completely ruined, right? The prestige that comes with that, all those things. It is impossible to come back from that. And the one thing that upset me, and just so you know, we have a few callers on the line, so we're gonna get to them after this little discussion here. So guys that have been waiting, we've been having a nice conversation, so I didn't want to just cut it into it too much if I wanted to let Saurus go. But the thing that upset me the most was the 300 series sale, the revamp of it with the paint and the you could buy these things for the inside. Okay, the cosmetic stuff, the coffee machine, I'm cool with that. But when they put the components, that's where I had the issue. And for me, is if you make components in the game super viable and unique and very different experiences from one another, depending on which ones you use, then and lock those behind things like reputation and grinds and certain things like gamify that how you achieve them, then I think you can sort of bring it back. Sort of. Like I'm with you. You'll never make the 890 jump be the achievement that it should be because they sold it for real money. Even if you stopped selling it today.
Even if they stopped selling them. Exactly. That's the other thing.
Matter.
Even if they stopped selling all ships today, which they're obviously, I don't even want that. That's not what I'm asking for. But I think that it might be too far gone because the majority of ships are now purchasable. That being said, I think that if they started doing that, you would see, if it's an in-game earnable only ship or in-game earnable only armor, that you would see that's what the majority of the players are going to use.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they can actually show off that they're playing. And it might actually bring people in to actually play. How many people do you think, and this is a question for you, how many people do you think have purchased ships and have either never or rarely even played the game to even see what those ships do?
A good portion of the I guess like more white knighty section of the community, because they don't that's not the game that they're playing. They're more like of the collector type and things like that. I think a good portion of the community that's pretty happy with the project right now are the ones that aren't playing it for it to be a game. They might
Mhm.
take a screenshot here and there or whatever, right? Like that's how they're enjoying the game right now. And to be honest, Saurus, they're probably doing it the right way. Maybe not spending like tons of money on the game, but again, money's relative. It's different for everybody. What you spend your money on is what you spend your money on. I'm not going to judge you. But the difference is the way they look at the game, and we're probably the ones at the moment that are in the wrong for saying like trying to play the game like it's a real game when it's not.
Well,
Where they're the guys
thing
who
is,
aren't,
like,
but we're asking for them to give us something because we
the
exist
reason-
too,
But the reason I say this as well is if you give people goals to play the game, I agree. The goal isn't to play the game as a game right now, even though it kind of is on CIG for that because they market it in a way that it's a playable game. However,
Yeah.
I still agree with if they had those things in the game, they'd have more people in it and therefore more people testing it and just more metrics overall and the ability like it just
That's always the argument for gameplay.
Stuff.
Like there's definitely arguments to not add gameplay in the game, but there's 100% arguments to add gameplay into the game when it comes to the idea of you're using these metrics to figure out how people to play the game to continue to add things and iterate on them. Well, you need people playing the game like as if it's a game in order to get those metrics and not have them be flawed. Because in my opinion, most of them are somewhat flawed because of those reasons. There's a lot of people aren't playing the game and going through the missions and going through any sort of progression because it doesn't exist. But all right, let's get to some callers. We got Lycan on the line, and we'll see what he has to say. It screwed it up. God damn it. Okay, Lycan, welcome, dude. I'll fix this real quick. Can you hear us, Lycan?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can everyone hear?
I hear you. What's up, man?
It's not bad, thanks. Everyone good?
We're great.
Good.
Yeah. All right. First off, parrot shit. LOL sauce. That was that was pretty funny.
It looks like his background.
That's right.
It's iridescent.
It is an iridescent. Yeah. It looks like a
definitely your shit.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to preface my history with the project in a weird kind of way. I didn't actually log in to the engine, for want of a better word, we're going to call it playing the game, till December 2019.
Okay.
And I backed the game in 2013, believe it or not, December 2013. So when I first logged into this, I was in a weird place where I'm looking at this and saying, okay, wow, everything's amazing. Everything's awesome. The visuals are great. Could not argue with how they've done the ships in terms of how it feels to call your ship down and actually enter the ship. It felt like nothing I've ever felt before.
Yeah.
I did check in a couple times, like maybe in 2016 when it was supposed to launch originally and nothing happened, and I just, gave up and said, I'll come back later on. That's where I was. So I didn't actually start following any deep development till about maybe a month and a half ago.
Okay.
Maybe 2 months. And followed the Reddit, started reading the Spectrum, see what is going on here, And what prompted me to do that was actually something Saurus mentioned at the very start of this discussion. When you asked him, Mike, you asked Saurus, what do you like about 3.10? He replied, well, I like that we're still getting patches.
Yeah.
Which to me is the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of the bare minimum feeling. And that is what prompted me to look into development and figure out where we're at. Because I didn't see anything there that gave me the wow factor I did before. The flight model, after playing a little bit, was pretty cool. Better than it was in 3.9, and I felt more in control of the fights a little ways. But then prompted myself again to question what else is here in the game. I got so frustrated with my Aurora that I eventually bought an Avenger and then a Cutlass.
Oh,
and
it makes me hurt.
I stopped right there and I said to myself, why am I progressing with my credit card? What's going on here?
Yeah.
I felt a little bit weird with that part. The bartender stuff, again, Went to a bartender. He stared at me for about 4 to 5 minutes. He put my drink on the bar and it fell through the floor and vanished. And
I hope you didn't tip him, dude.
I find that once people start down that progression, it becomes really normalized as well, especially when you look at the Star Citizen community. And I think that's why there's a lot of backlash outside of the Star Citizen community, because they look at it and they see a lot of the progression through your wallet.
Yeah.
And not through the game. And I think that's where a lot of the criticism stems from.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just gets exacerbated outside of that for people outside of the community. And then for the people in the community, it's so normalized that it's like, yeah, of course, this is what we're doing. And they justify it by saying, oh, we're helping build the game and everything like that.
Yeah, that is definitely what a couple of my friends said. They were looking at it as well. I'm the one that took the plunge because I had backed it so long ago, completely forgot about it, which is what a lot of people on the Reddit are recommending you do. Take note of that. A lot of people are recommending that if you back the game, just put it down for a few years.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
That is a weird thing to say.
But why back
years,
it now, then?
not months, years.
Yeah.
I went back into it. Remember I said I backed it so long ago, and I decided to try playing it because of CitizenCon last year. I looked at it. It looked amazing. I saw the rover going over the slopes in the snowstorm, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This is cool. This is really cool. And when I actually got into it, I'm not going to lie, for the first 20 minutes before my first crash to desktop, everything was visually stunning, visually impressive, and constantly impressing me everywhere I look. I went to the new planet, Microtech, and the city wasn't there. I was like, wait, hang on, but I thought they said, and I was like, okay, so the city got delayed. It's in another patch. No problem. I'll fly onto the ground. 2 or 3 attempts, got there, fell through the world. And I was, what is happening? My computer, I thought maybe, my system wasn't strong enough. But then I looked at some of the specs that people are posting in these crash reports, and some people are saying that they're playing great. And I mean, I had, at the time, was one of the latest Ryzen's, GTX 260 and 32 gigs of RAM. I thought my PC, should be able to pull its own.
Yeah, your PC is plenty.
Yeah, it wasn't really the computer, the 30K crashes. I was just saying to myself, what is happening? This doesn't seem like anything the way I thought it would have been after giving my money all those years ago in 2013, and then coming back and then giving them more. And before I stopped myself, I then had to, figure out, is it something that I'm not seeing in the project? Everyone on the Reddit was saying, I don't say everyone. There are a lot of disgruntled people on the Reddit that, when I first looked at it, were saying a lot of very bad things, especially around the time just before 3.10 had dropped. It was fire. Everyone was, the memes, everyone was upset. And
it was awesome.
I couldn't figure.
Well, this is the cycle.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I kept seeing. I keep seeing memes like this is. There was one that was particularly striking where they say "You are here."
That meme.
Yearly cycle where we're at. And I took a look over at the other Reddit, and I saw hatred that was most of the time just, it was like a virus that really didn't have a lot of roots. And then I saw some hard truths over there as well.
Yeah,
and I'm like, whoa.
I think the difference with the two of us is we've always been on this discussion for years.
Yeah,
this discussion hasn't changed.
Both extremes of this. I think when the problem also lies in where people are getting a lot of their information for the most part is either the Reddit or Spectrum or whatever. And the problem with those platforms is they're huge echo chambers.
Yeah.
That have gatekeepers in them, right? So, like, for example, you said that, and this is why the meme is so funny, the "You Are Here" meme, is because that happens and has happened with every patch. I would say after the first year of
since
actually
3.0.
being able to play the game.
Yeah.
Even before that, you would see that, and when there's nothing going on, especially the summer times before, when they didn't have a regular schedule. Mike can attest to this. It would stress me out so much.
Yeah.
Because the summers would be brutal.
Yeah.
Because we would get no patches or whatever. For me personally, and I can probably say this for Mike as well, we're extremely patient when it comes to the game and the development cycle of the game. Obviously, we're still here.
Yeah.
We can deal with the bugs. We understand that the bugs are there. Like you said, I have a super computer that's NASA powered over here that runs everything fine except for Star Citizen, and that's not my issue. When you look at everything though, it starts to add up, right? So when you look at, okay, patches are starting to become late now. Normally, and even now, I'm like, whatever, that's how it goes. At least we're getting patches on a regular cycle. There's bugs in the game. Of course, there's bugs in the game. They're going to be developing, and they're going to be adding new things, and it's going to break things, and they're going to prioritize stuff and whatever. That's fine. And then you add everything's for sale, and then you add there's actually no gameplay in the game after, and it's not like there's no gameplay in the game and we're a couple of years in. So there's no gameplay in the game, and we're 8 years in, $300 million given to them. They keep making more money than they have the month before or the year before. We've made officially CIG. I say we, but CIG has made, and this is a problem, right? That's a mentality, right? Where I say that,
yeah.
Where and it just comes natural to me. But CIG's made more money this year than they have any other year, and there's nothing special about this year at all, right? And if anything, I feel like people are being pushed away from the game more and more, but obviously that's not the case.
No, and I think the we thing is also what makes it so good. Like, why are we still here? Why are we still having this conversation? Because we know eventually it'll be heard, and we know that it has a chance of helping. That's why. Right. And that's what makes the project pretty special.
But my going back to my point was, you keep adding all of these things on top of one another, and as an individual thing, it's not that big of a deal. Having the bugs in the game and it's not working properly, that makes sense. It's being built. Having patches be delayed or late, listen, it's not the end of the world. They're still coming out with these patches. They're still bringing stuff out.
Yeah,
having everything for sale, I understand it, whatever. But it's when you compound all of this stuff on it that makes it sort of stand out. But you look at these Reddit posts, and it's like you see the biases, and you see the fact that it's an echo chamber. It's very I call Reddit screenshot. Like that's all it is. It's just screenshots. Yep. And when Star Citizen puts out some
solid memes there every now and again, though.
There's some memes. That's right. Yeah,
some good memes.
So I try to not have it. I try to not have my opinion swayed by everyone telling me, we just got to wait on this and that. And back to the point on where we were at earlier. I know you hate using your WoW analogies, but one really stuck with me, right?
Yep.
And this is the one you kept going back to with your mounts and the ships, right? When I think of World of Warcraft and the mounts, there's a lot of prestige behind those mounts, sure.
Mm-hmm.
However, they're nowhere near as useful as the ships are supposed to be.
No, the functionality is not there. They do the exact same. They all do the exact same thing, for the most part.
Exactly. But then we look at Star Citizen, and we see how our ships are progressing, and the functionality that they're supposed to have aren't quite there either. So when we look at things like the carrot, sure, that's there, but is that a full gameplay loop? Are we really competing with trade? I don't think we are. I don't think that gameplay loop is complete yet. Everyone says you can go to an area and trade, and but you're not even using this. What I saw at the CitizenCon last year, Quanta. They're not even using this method of where the universe is alive, and what you're doing makes a difference.
No, I agree with that entirely. I was just making the point that ships have more functionality than WoW ones do, right? Because you can at least fire the ships, you can walk around them. There's turrets or pilot gameplay, even in a ship like the Starfarer that essentially has no use, or the Reclaimer that has no use in the game, and those things aren't fleshed out still.
Yeah, I mean, the point he's making is that ships should be even more prestigious, and they're not.
Even more prestigious, and not only that, is even with those things removed, that they're still technically more impressive. And they're still visually incredibly more impressive, and it should have this feeling. And it frustrates me and makes me upset that it doesn't. And no matter what I do, I can't look at it and just see a dollar sign. That's all. Like,
No, I
and
love
I
your
implore this to
idea.
anybody who jumps in a Star Citizen next. Look at a ship and see what that the actual raw emotion is that it brings you when you see it. Because an 890 jump should be something that's like really exciting, or like any multi-crew ship should be something that's like, oh wow, and almost give you that goosebumps feeling.
And it may do that. It may do that for some people, but the thing is that it doesn't for you and I. And our opinions are our opinions. But I think our opinions are valid, and I think other people share them as well. And I think often the people who feel the way we do don't get listened to because they think it comes behind a lot of negativity. And I thought that's why this conversation was so important, because it's backed in so much logic and truths and reality, right? Instead of it's just two guys that have been playing the game forever and we're impatient, which we all often get labeled as. There's so much more backing behind this argument than a lot of the arguments that we've had in the past, and that's why I was like, this conversation needs to be had, and the devs need to hear it.
Yeah, that's a really good point there. If we don't have the conversation at all, everything just stays the same, and there is no incentive to moving forward. What I do in the real life, no, I'm not a CTO. I did see that one. I'm in charge of sales and marketing for a tech company. We sell hardware and services. That is it.
Okay.
It's not, we don't build the software. We don't generate the incredible revenues of larger companies. That's it. I market and sell the products and our services. When I look at my objectives, and I looked at something that you guys touched on, which is, again, progressing your wallet, I would love to get commission from selling Star Citizen ships. You know what I'm saying? I would love that to be my job, because for some reason,
it's so
and
easy.
we touched on this earlier, it just seems to roll. Everyone wants to give CIG money, regardless or whether or not the game has progressed. And
it's
this year,
the gray market, baby.
This year's been a point in that where the culture of Star Citizen isn't like that of World of Warcraft, how it used to be, where you have to find a group and chat to people to see, hey, you guys like me enough to let me join your raid, or even that of EVE Online. I don't know if you guys played that, but there's something you go and call Jita Chat, where Jita Chat is a market. The culture is built in that social aspect of those games, and the culture in Star Citizen seems to be built around the wallet. There's concierge chat, essentially. There's these different forums where people who have spent more money on the game exclude themselves in. I don't know if that's because we as a society like to feel a certain way about our own accomplishments, and if that has to do with money, then so be it. But if there is no culture for the actual gameplay. So when we're talking gameplay and loops, you can call yourself a pirate, but we all know that all you do is shoot people and you get no profit from it, really.
Yeah.
Spend time in prison, and that's about it.
But it's the same thing. You can call yourself a trader, and all you do is bring in a box from one point to another,
and watch your UEC go up. There's nothing to it. But
it's the exact same for everything in the game right now.
But if you can try and make your last points, because there's a couple callers behind you, and the show has to end at some point. Although the conversation's been wonderful.
No problem, man. So the one last thing I have to touch on here is something someone brought up in the Twitch chat as I was watching. The ratio of designers to artists.
We'll never know.
I really wanted. We don't know,
and we'll never will.
We don't know, and maybe we never will. Maybe we can't say we never, because someone might leak a document. Who knows?
Sure.
But when we think of what the artists do and what the actual coders do, and that separation, we have to ask ourselves, which one of these groups is bringing us more money? What do we gain from hiring more coders versus more artists right now? And I don't want to be the negative Nancy in the room, but it's the more money, the more artists you got to work on the ships to sell, the more money you're bringing in. And as someone that hasn't played the game for all those years, and I just jumped in Last year, December, as I told you guys, I expected there to be more. But
Yeah.
what there was more of was more ships.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean that's the problem. That's the problem. But all right, Lycan, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
on the show,
guys.
man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime. Bye.
Yeah, man. Bye now.
Good one.
All right, let's bring Unmatched on. It'll mess the camera up for a second and then fix it. Welcome back, Unmatched. How you doing? Unmatched.
Good.
Keep
Can you
it.
hear me?
Keep it succinct today. Keep it on topic.
What do you mean? You guys
know
weren't
what I
even
mean.
talking about gameplay loops. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there like, bruh, that means I could wear off too.
All right, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. This is one topic other than devs playing their own game that I'm most adamant about,
Yeah.
honestly. But I just want to start out to say that something slightly off topic. I'm not really a proud backer anymore of Star Citizen as I once was,
Okay.
because I saw what a game that Star Citizen themselves helped fund another game. They retweeted them. They put out. I think they mentioned them in one of their old videos. They basically helped, if I remember correctly,
Proud of the
fund.
Avatar?
No, not Stroud of the Avatar. Dual Citizen.
Dual universe.
Yeah,
Dual
Dual
Universe.
Universe. Sorry, Dual Universe. They help fund them, and Dual Universe is about to go into beta. And I'm just looking at that game. I'm just like, oh wow, just another game that just beat Star Citizen, and Star Citizen doesn't have anything to show for $300 million and $400 million if you count private investment, and 8-9 years of development or whatever. Another game, and then there's the other game, Ashes of Creation. What that guy did in 3 years is incredible. After white papering his whole project, and I'm just looking at like, where's my, So I'm just gonna say that, and then I'll get back to the thing. I'm not a proud backer of Star Citizen. $1,400 in. So, but again, this is one topic that I really like the most. It's gameplay loops. Gameplay loops. The game that I've seen the best gameplay loops in is a game called Old School RuneScape.
Okay.
One thing that during the coronavirus, Old School RuneScape hit a concurrent player count of 156,000 players online at the same time. That's not including probably having over 1 million subscribers at $11, $12 per month. So I played this game since I was like very young, like middle school and stuff like that. So I know all about it. It's basically a game that ruined themselves. They updated the game too much, and they ruined the original game and basically went back and made Old School RuneScape. And the community has basically been voting on literally everything that ever comes into Old School RuneScape after that.
Sounds
what-
exactly like WoW and WoW Classic.
Yeah. WoW Classic basically copied them, but I don't think that WoW Classic will ever have a poll system they'll be able to choose what comes into the game. Literally everything that comes into Old School RuneScape is voted on the
What
community.
about
But
the
I don't
gameplay makes it so great?
well, it's the gameplay loop that makes it so great.
Sure.
When you
Is
talk about when you talk about Old School RuneScape, just the questing alone, and I have different topics on this, different categories that I wrote down while you guys were talking. Just the questing alone will help you unlock new monsters to farm, cosmetics, areas to skill in, areas to kill bosses in, teleports, armors, weapons, shops. That's just the questing point. The quests are normally last anywhere. It could be like 15 minutes up to like 10, 15 hours. That's how long the quests last, and those are the things that they help you unlock. This and that's one gameplay loop, a carrot on a stick that a lot of people chase in RuneScape. You have to go through a lot of quests before you get to those big quests that allow you to unlock these big teleports or these big bosses and the best armor or the best skilling area. And that's just one gameplay loop right there that Star Citizen could copy.
Yeah, it's a reward structure, right?
Yeah,
When I say unlockables, when I talk about this, I use armor or ship skins or whatever as this. But I also think like the ability to mine, right? Like you could use it to unlock more gameplay, which is
Yes.
rewarding in and of itself.
Yes, and I could even get to that in old school RuneScape, skilling. I don't know how you could even do this in Star Citizen too. Skilling is not only like most of the skills are AFK, some of them are active, some of them are annoying as hell. Click, 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 click. Skilling itself, it allows you to gather resources, make items. On top of that, you have a small chance, like 1 in 50,000, to unlock a pet. You'll get the small message in your box saying you have a feeling that you're being followed, and you get like a pet that's like 1 in 50,000 chance, 1 in 100,000 chance. They could do that in Star Citizen too. That's another gameplay, another carrot on the stick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For somebody to chase.
Okay.
Another one, another gameplay loop that they could add is generic monster farming, generic boss farming. In RuneScape, you farm generic monsters for rare drops or materials. You form bosses because they have rare drops, materials. They have certain items that you farm this boss to get the item. You farm another boss to get an item.
But
You do a quest, and you'll be able to put all these rare items together to make one of like the powerful staves in the game.
Sure.
Right, but so
go ahead.
it all boils down to it just being a better reward structure.
Yeah,
And
but,
I think that's
like,
what I'm getting at. That's what you're getting at.
Yeah, I mean, we can all make up all these ideas. Like, we can all have our ideas of what will work. But I think the idea is that we're all in agreement of there needs to be something like this in the game. It doesn't have to take exactly what RuneScape does, right? And it doesn't have to take exactly what other games do. But like, I think a lot of the solutions that Saurus provided today were ones that are built-in reality that they're possible pre server meshing and pre all these other things. Like the example of farming bosses isn't really something that you can do in Star Citizen right now until we have persistence. We can take components off of people's ships, all that kind of stuff. So that's not based in any form of reality at the moment. Some other small things are, though. You know?
Yeah, but even the questing thing, you could do that right now to unlock items and stuff. Saurus was right. You need something. We need a carrot on a stick. Like he was right when he says that you don't get any feeling when you see a guy flies his constellation over you. Somebody just slapped some money down there, and you said another part. He just put down he could have been just slapped down on a credit card, and he got that ship. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it has no feeling to it. And what makes games great is the feelings that they give you, whether it's fear, proud, whatever.
The game lacks soul.
Yeah.
It really does. Like we need something that when you look over to your, you spawn at Port Olisar and you look over, you go into the meeting room where you spawn your ship. You look at a guy and he's carrying like some crazy cloak that he just did all the Tessa Bannister missions for. You're just like, he got, we need one of those. We need all these things, and that's why I'm so adamant about this, because if there's no gameplay loops that's engaging. And like when you see somebody hanging around a kiosk, that they spent like hundreds of hours farming for it, or they did something like that. There's not going to be any feelings in the game.
Yeah, unmatched. I apologize because we're running low on time for me today, because obviously I do have to go to work. What would you do for the game now that is different? Like anything? Would you add anything to what Saurus's ideas to add to the game are?
No, I'm just amplifying what he says with more, reinforcing it with experience that I have from a successful game. It's a game that, again, the graphics of old school RuneScape, they're horrible, but there's over 1 million people playing it.
Yeah.
And I just think that this is something that they could do right now. They could do some long quest line. They don't have to put in like a physical NPC character. He could just be a voiceover on a kiosk, and he tells you to do all these things.
Mobiglass, man.
Yeah, or even that. You could do it over the Mobiglass, and you go through these hard series of quests, and you get a reward at it, and that's what I want these gameplay loops. Like if I could just like create like a PDF and hand it to Chris Roberts, that's how important it is to me that you get the gameplay loops correct on top of your own developers playing your video games. The two main topic that I've seen games literally fail over. Your devs are not playing the game, your gameplay loop is trash, you know, and that's part of the reason why like main WoW failed and they had to go back to old WoW, is because the gameplay loop was just go get max gear, and you'll spend hundreds of hours getting max gear. Towards the end of the expansion, they're going to make that way easier for new players to get the max gear. Then you're going to go into the next expansion, and then you're going to do that all over again. You know what I'm saying? With the catch-up mechanics and all that stuff. But I think Saurus is right. I just want to amplify what he's saying with
I
my
think that's all
experience.
you can do. It's so hard.
Yeah.
I don't think you can add anything other than amplify his ideas. That's why I thought this
and
was
you know
so good.
What sucks is I want somebody to bring up a valid point of why these things aren't there, or why it's not that important. But I wouldn't be. I don't make the arguments I make because I see, like, I don't see those flaws in them. But I do hope that somebody brings it up, and then that'll actually make me feel better about the state of the game, and I wouldn't be as frustrated with it.
Yeah.
But
all right,
so hopefully somebody has some rebuttals here.
And I'm gonna let you go. And I think next week I'm gonna implement a timer. So the first caller, we tend to talk to the first caller too much always, and then we don't get to the next ones. But all right, Amesh, have a good one, buddy. Thank you.
All right.
Because look, I know he has more points. I feel so bad. Beefy, welcome, dude.
You want to change the name at the top too?
Oh shit, yeah, I keep forgetting. Yep.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Beefy, what's up, dude?
Going on, man?
Hey, not much. So first off, just want to say, SaltEMike, great content, all the time, truthful, to the point, you know, just good. You're not that white knight scum that I can't stand.
Thanks.
So, like, my background, like, I am a new pledge. Like, I pledged July 1.
Oh wow.
My friend, I had a couple friends who got into it around Invictus, and then they told me to start playing, you know, after Invictus already happened.
Sure.
So, you know, hop into the game, and, you know, like Lycan said earlier, just the initial wow factor. You know, you get your starter ship, like, you figure out, you know, how to take off, fly. Like, your first planetary entry is just mind-blowing. Everything's shiny, pretty, you know, beautiful. And then, you know, as Lycan also said, you know, 30 minutes in, you get your first 30K, and then you're like, you know, what what the hell just happened? But, you know, with the network disconnecting bugs, like, I just want to, like, get into, like, playing with my friends, like, that I've known in real life and stuff, and we get into the game where we all start playing, and, you know, we are all coming from that WoW mentality, you know, like, oh, we're gonna get into the game, you know, we're gonna form a guild, you know, or
doing stuff together.
Yeah, exactly. And we do start doing that, you know, like, we go off, like, we start doing bounty hunting. We're like, yeah, this is fun, but we're not really making any money. We figure out that trading's, like, the best way to make money. You know, granted, we don't know that Infinite Laranite's a bug at this point. And we justify, you know, the grind for, you know, the boring trade of taking Laranite boxes from A to B is worth the reward of, you know, just mindless grinding for ships that will enable more gameplay down the line. And then they turned off the Laranite sync, and pretty much as soon as that happened, my friends stopped playing because there's no substantial rewards.
Yeah, I mean, and even something small could be a substantial reward, right? Like, even if it was an item that wasn't a ship.
Yeah. Well, it's a fancy box, the Pico, a turtle, or whatever. The thing is there's no gate to that content, so it's just there, and you just have access to it.
I mean, like, using roadmaps as an example, there's no roadmap from, like, the Aurora to the this to the that. like most MMOs have like a skill, right? Like you gain skill, you gain level.
Yep.
The only progression in Star Citizen is ships, and there's no realistic progression. So some idea of having some of those things gated would have made sense, but since you sold them all, you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's where I went full Pepega card, and
Yep.
you know, got sucked into, you know, all right, well, I want to have like a better fighter, but you know, it's not worth the time right now. So like, I'll get an arrow, and then you find out that just PvP is dog shit, and you know, missile spam, and like it's just so broken that it's. I mean, really, what it comes down to is the game. I mean, just that. I don't know, dev's not playing, or it's the Chris Roberts effect of he's coming from, and SaltEMike, I did go back and I watched the cutscenes for Wing Commander.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. That was in the
that's
90s, right?
Yeah, dude, that's impressive shit. But with that said, you know, it's like Chris Roberts has never played an MMO ever in his life.
But he
It's
has.
like
He was a part of
Yeah.
Ultima Online.
Okay, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he was a part of that project, and a lot of the guys were. It's just, it comes down to this, like, as a new backer, these are things that they need to hear. What would be some low-hanging fruit, something that would be relatively quick and easy for them to do in the next patch, 3.11, maybe 3.12, that would bring you back to the game and have you enjoy it a little bit more. Like me and Saurus mentioned, it doesn't need to be the big drop, like they drop a whole planet on it that is full of gameplay and the whole world changes. We know that there's going to be small steps to get there. What would a small step be for you?
I mean, small step for me. I mean, just make group content worth doing. I mean, everything that is group content right now in the game, like if you go to your missions tab, right? There's that 15K claim jumpers, right?
Sure.
Like that's a fun mission to do with 10 people, but 15K split between 10 people in a party is pennies. Like it's not worth the time. Like that gameplay is in the game right now. Just make it worth my
The
time to
rewards
do.
out there.
Yeah.
I think that's the overall.
And to put together a group,
Yeah.
you know, deal with the shit bugs of getting everybody to the same spot to do the mission. You know, somebody's going to disconnect at some point. You know,
So I actually have an argument against that. I think I understand that the bugs are frustrating, and I understand that with development comes the bugs and the issues and the 30Ks and stuff like that. But I think that the rewards would be that much more rewarding when you see somebody has one, when you're dealing with not only the aspect of being good at the game or doing whatever it is that you need to do to achieve that goal, but also combating with those bugs and fighting those 30Ks. It actually makes those rewards more rewarding.
Yeah. Way more rewarding. The fear of missing out should be in the game. Not on the website.
Where you're from, where you want the bugs to be fixed, and of course we want the bugs to be fixed and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't think that is actually where the issue lies, and I think it's an easy thing to attack, because it is so prevalent and it is such a thing. But I think that it's not something you would immediately think of. But the way that I think about it is, if you, like, say you have this big group mission and they bumped up the price to 150,000 UEC, right? And if that's what you're going after, that's great. Or maybe it gives you unlocks the 890 jump or whatever it is.
Yeah. Like just something like
even
you know, more UEC and armor and ship components. You know, like.
But even if it takes you 6 times to do it, you're going to continue to try and do it because the reward is there. And then when you finally hit that reward, it's going to feel amazing. Like,
exactly. And that's the feeling that I get when I'm raiding in WoW. Like I know life WoW during Kata and MOP, and the feeling of, yes, we're going to go into this raid and we're going to wipe because we don't have the eye level for this. Like, you know, and it could be the same thing with Star Citizen. You know, we're going to go into this with a bunch of Auroras. We have shit weapons, you know, but we're going to try, and we're going to smash our heads against the wall. We're going to grind to get what we need to do this mission. And like you said, once you get it, that feeling is so emotional. Like, you have the camaraderie with the people that you just did that with.
And have just sledged through it and gone through all the same problems that you have. Now
Yes.
imagine if you added 30Ks to those WoW raids. And
Oh,
so
God.
and this is the thing, and sometimes it isn't even your fault, but you know that the reward at the end is whatever it's like, that piece of gear or that mount, and you know you're gonna get it. You're gonna, even though you know the chances of the game crashing are high and it has there's nothing you can do about it, or that you're gonna fall through the
Or that
world,
you might not even get it. It might go to your party member.
but you're still gonna do it over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
Because the reward is worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Asmongold's still streaming.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But anything else you want to add, Beefy, before we let you go?
Hey, no, I think Saurus's point is, I mean, exactly what the game needs. Just solid rewards for the gameplay that we have, and just fleshing out gameplay over new ships or improve visual effects.
It's absolutely the way forward. But all right, Beefy, we'll let you go, buddy.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on, man. Bye.
Yep.
All right, next one, Gorgon the Destroyer. Gorgon, what's up, dude?
Yo, what's up, Big Nick?
What's going on?
Not much, boys. I understand we're short on time.
Yes.
So let's right into it. No bullshit. Right?
Okay. Never fire it.
Yeah.
All right. So gameplay loops and how to fix them. First off, get rid of the stupid hidden reputation system. Right? Why are we gating content around a system that is literally impossible to understand from a player standpoint? Right?
And the thing is we know they can do that because we have the prison system with the little star thing, so you can visualize the reputation.
Yeah,
they
but
do it
you even build rep with the in some ways with the mission givers. Like they show up after doing missions, but we don't know what it takes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What mission?
Oh, I see. What
like
you're saying.
I've done 10 missions. Like I've done 10 missions, and then all of a sudden, Twitch Pacheco gives me a call. It's like, "Hey, come for an appointment." What actually started that? I have no idea.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I 30K, and then the appointment's gone. How do I get it back? No clue. It's gone forever.
Yeah, same with
10
Rudo.
more missions, buddy. 10 more lashes.
10 more random missions. And then like on the other side, like you do one future ghost because you're like, oh, I wonder what sort of mobs they're actually going to pop up here because I'm so sick of Buccaneers and Constellations. And then all of a sudden you have no missions like at all forever, even when you get rid of your crime stat. Why? Like, just get all that shit out of here and just let us see the whole mission list. Let us see all the content and let us choose as players how we want to proceed in the mission.
There's
grind.
even a way,
because we have so little content right now. It is inexcusable to be gating content.
The thing is I think that it's not in, because this is something I brought up on my stream the other day, because in World of Warcraft, you go on your character tab and you can see the reputations with every faction you have, right? I'm sure you're familiar with it, where you see there's a bar and it shows you how far you are to exalted or hated or whatever it is.
Well, I'm not a WoW guy, so I really have no clue, dude. Sorry.
Well, it's really straightforward. It's just a bar with a number, and at 0 you're at low, and at 6,000 or 21,000 you're at the highest, and it unlocks things as you go along. I think one of the things with CIG, and this is to their detriment as much as it is to the greatness of the game, is their immersion issue. So I think they have a problem showing how, because reputation is more of an emotion thing.
Yeah.
But I have a solution for it. And most people go to, oh, well, it should be this number scale on your mobiGlass or whatever. But I don't think they're going to add that in the same way that they add the crime stat, right? Where it's a visual thing. But what they could do is they could make it the actual NPC themselves. So when you talk to them, you get an idea of where you are along. And I'm talking about when you're not in a mission with them. When you just go up to them and click on them, there's an option of,
oh, hey, good
maybe
to see you
there's a thing of, what's my reputation with you guys, right? And then they can say, oh, I kind of trust you, I kind of don't, or you're like a best friend to me or whatever. I think there's a way that they could implement the ability to track the reputation you have with an individual person or with a group of people through this the conversation system and the AI system that they have. I don't know if they thought about that, but that's something that I thought that maybe they could do without sacrificing their oh so holy immersion.
Yeah, because Chris Roberts looks at you and says, "No way, that's bullshit. You don't have an app on your phone in real life that shows you how much people like you." we need
Right.
to have more fidelity and like all this bullshit, like, right? So like we need to get out of that line of thinking and start thinking of this as an actual fucking video game that people want to play.
Yeah.
And then just let the
Right.
immersion happen normally. You know what I mean? Like you should feel immersed in the world because you feel like your stuff has meaning. Like your progression is like meaningful and believable, not
Yeah.
because of all of like these like, oh, well, in real life, I wouldn't know XYZ because I'm a human being that isn't omnipotent, right? Like you don't need to like put the fourth wall right in front of us like that, right?
Yeah.
Making people wait and having a high density of pixel count doesn't equal immersion.
No.
Yeah.
It's,
You
it's
can be
the-
immersed in old games, old like Nintendo games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's how everything comes together, and it's how a lot of the more subtle things come together.
All right,
Right.
and
So,
Gorgon,
there's-
I'll let you go, man. I'll make my final point on this with you in here is the reason I play video games is to kind of escape reality a little bit, and the idea of being able to achieve things that I probably wouldn't be able to in my real life, and be able to just have some fun, different things that we normally wouldn't be able to. And if you don't gamify certain things, then that's taken away. But all right, our last caller coming on. Thank you again, Gorgon. I appreciate it. Our last
Thanks,
caller
Gorgon.
coming on is IDD KFA. IDD KFA, what's up, dude?
Oh, do you want to pick up Reza if I'm your last caller? I
It's up to
gladly
you.
swap.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can swap me.
I think Razor's already gone. It's fine. He understands.
Ah,
I talked to him
gotcha.
before.
Because I wasn't sure, I call in to the right show because your topic says gameplay loops, and you guys were mainly talking about achievements and rewards.
Yeah, I mean, there are no gameplay loops in Star Citizen, so how do you create something that resembles one now is really the discussion.
Here's the gameplay loop I suggested multiple times, and that's you have cargo hauling in game, and you have mining in game, and let's connect them.
Mhm.
Let's say at an outpost they have much lower resources to sell, but those resources go up if miners sell their ores.
Yeah.
And that way the miners can make more money if the stock is low, and the cargo haulers can make more money when the miners do their job and sell their ore.
And the pirates can have some value there as well.
Absolutely, and the PvPers can go at it as well to interrupt things.
My understanding is that's the quanta system that you're explaining right there. That's exactly what they showed when they showed the quanta system at CitizenCon.
Yeah, but
the supply and demand of things and what's there and what isn't. That's exactly what that is.
But they
I
also
agree.
do that with the
That can
cargo
absolutely
system
fix
now. Is the more you sell, the prices do fluctuate a little bit. Not very much, but they
Right.
do. And I think he's arguing that you can kind of do that with minables now if you wanted to.
Yeah, not so much the prices, but the actual amount of things that are
Yeah,
available.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. But the lowest hanging fruit for a gameplay loop that I can give you is like, instead of having your standard bunkers with your like 4 turrets, make it 30 turrets or some absurd number you can't possibly do solo, and force people to use the in-game chat and group up.
Yeah.
Okay. So then my question goes to this, and obviously I know the answer to this already. But why are people going to go through all the trouble of getting everybody and doing all of that and going through all that work? Is it just for UEC, or what is it that they're working towards?
It is absolutely UEC right now. UEC is your only progression in the game right now.
Yeah, but Saurus's argument is why not? If you have put that mission, is why don't you put an item behind it that you can, a badge of honor for achieving that reward?
Yeah, because I think when all of the rewards are the same for everything, then you're going to go with the lowest hanging fruit of whatever it is that you do.
Yeah.
For example, I don't like mining. I know that it makes a lot of money. I don't like cargo hauling. I know it makes a lot of money because there's a lot of sitting there doing nothing. What I actually enjoy doing the most in the game right now is the maintenance missions. I like being a trash man in space because I have the most input on things. I'm traveling between short amount of distances. I'm landing and taking off constantly. I'm walking in and out of my ship. So that's giving me the most actual gameplay and doing things, but it doesn't pay any money. But it does, but it's very little. But the thing is it's still UEC. It's no different than any of the other missions. So I go to that because it's actually the most engaging thing for me.
That's what rock mining is for me, and for mining, it's more engaging.
Right. And obviously everybody's going to have a little bit different things, but I think that when the reward is the same for everything, then people tend to focus on just one thing, and they're not going to spread out. Like I would absolutely do mining to go and get the backpack, or unlock the ability to buy a rock, or unlock the ability, like do hand mining to unlock the ability to buy a prospector or whatever. Sure. Even though I don't want those things, it's still like, I have it, and so I can show it off. Yeah, I have the option of doing that. Yeah. Whereas right now, if everything is just for UEC or gold, then it's all the same. Then why bother doing something more difficult?
Yeah, I agree. It would be a true feeling of progression. My issue is, I'm not against the idea. But I don't think they can keep up adding rewards in the pace you earn it. What I mean is, at some point, you get bored of the whole gameplay loop you're playing. I mean, it doesn't matter if you mine,
right, but if you make
UEC or mine
something next to impossible to earn, I don't think that would get bored. You would get bored chasing after it. It would get frustrating for sure. Like even if it was something minor, like say once again, it was the mining suit. Let's say the mining suit isn't available until you've mined 10 million UE or 10 million SCU of something, right? Like that's there for you to grind as a long-term thing. I think that there should be short-term and long-term things that you work towards. And those things have different levels of prestige, right? So if you have a helmet that's unlockable after killing one security guard, it's still a reward for that. But if you have another helmet that's the same thing but a different color for killing 1,000 security guards, you're not. I don't think you're gonna get bored, and it's not like it's a ton more work for the developers to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But the grind for the player is there, and so you see the distinction between the one colorway over another colorway, and that's just a simple example, but shows you the amount of time put in for a player, and that's how you can extend that end game. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you mean, but that progression also gets wiped, right? Like you're starting over again.
But I mean, so does UEC.
Yeah, sure. But
and if anything, UEC is more boring because there's only you can't show it off, right? There's very limited things you can do with it.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the development doesn't outpace your progression. That's like you buy a week or two more to grind the stuff up like a helmet, and then you get bored again. And if they don't add something new the next patch or the patch
they could just make things incredibly grindy. Oof. They could make some, not everything, but they need to balance, right? But they need to make some things, just like in World of Warcraft, there's mounts that you can go after for 12 years and never get them. So you need things that are incredibly grindy and go after them that way. But some things need to be achievable, obviously.
Yeah, like
and
the armor example would be achievable, maybe certain types, but some would be really difficult.
Like the blue armor is achievable. The red armor maybe takes twice as long or 4 times as long, and the gold armor is like
100 times. Yeah.
Good luck getting it this patch.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't. Maybe it's impossible, but it's still something to work towards.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I mean, it can work, but
yeah,
I'm not sure it lasts that long.
I think that
see the point he's making.
I think if you put the reward there, people will chase it. I understand what you're trying to say too, that people will get bored of chasing it. But I think that if that's the only way to get it,
he's saying
you can't go and buy it.
He's saying that you will get it before they can develop the next one.
And I'm just saying you can make the grind long enough that no.
Yeah.
Right? That's just a number thing.
Yeah.
Let's just put it behind a number of missions or a number of players, And if it's too easy to get, add 3 zeros at the end of it. Right? In terms of killing 30,000 ships or doing 1,000 missions or something
Yeah, like,
that.
Defender, even his
right?
title, dude, Defender of the Galaxy or something crazy like that, right?
Right. Yeah, that's something WoW does as well as the titles is
Yeah,
really cool.
They matter. So, I don't know. Anything else you want to add, IDD?
Yeah, I want the title Twerk the Crazy Cat
Okay,
Lady.
goodbye. Have a great day. Thank you for coming on, IDD. We appreciate it. All right. Saurus, let me fix your camera real quick, and then let's see what you're going to be up to this coming little bit of time here. Oh my god, this is so annoying that this happened. There we go. So, I guess Kazu fixed it. Yeah, I'll just do that then. Okay.
That works too.
Thanks, Kazu. So, yeah, what are you up to? Where can people find you and everything? I know exactly what I did wrong too, and how to fix this, but I can't do it mid-show.
Next time.
Yeah. So, yeah, where can people find you? What are you up to in the near future? And again, just thank you for coming on. I thought that this conversation really needed to be had, and it was really important.
People want it. Believe me.
Yeah.
At least from my end, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Saurus.tv or twitch.tv/Saurus, whatever you prefer.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to start doing. I mean, we've talked about this. I've talked about this openly. I want to start doing YouTube videos on this kind of content. And I want to open up those. I want to have more of these kind of discussions.
Should we put some pressure on you and say, I'll put a link and say subscribe to Saurus for videos that might be coming out in the future that are kind of geared towards topics like these?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Where is it? Here we go. Here.
I just think Saurus thinks about the game pretty critically, similar to. There you go, guys. It's in the Twitch chat, and I'll grab it for the YouTube video, and like provide so much value to this. And we had a conversation about him making YouTube videos, just like on topics like these, you know.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other things I could talk about as well as just the reward system, but other things that could come in there. I don't know if it's an unlimited supply. I wish it was, but
always limits it. Yeah.
Other than that, I stream Monday to Friday. Currently, I'm back on my normal schedule of 8 a.m. to whenever. Generally, I'm streaming. I stream Star Citizen every day still. So there's a lot of people who come into my channel, and I spend a large chunk of my time in another game, but I still do. And they're like, "Oh, don't you play Star Citizen anymore?"
Yeah.
But I play Star Citizen every day for a few hours every day at that. But it's at the beginning of my stream.
Yeah.
And we talk about things and whatever. And then I'll jump into WoW or when Dead Matter's playable or Cyberpunk or whatever. Maybe Cyberpunk is maybe I'm just gonna play that when that comes out. But yeah, that's about it. So Monday to Friday, and then on the weekend sometimes I do some bonus streams. This week is gonna be a little all over the place because I have to take the truck in and get some mechanical work done.
Yeah.
My new joints are blown. And, my drive shaft's about to drop out of the bottom of my truck any second now.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to these YouTube videos. The last 3 guests that I've had on the show, it's like, make YouTube videos, guys. It's fun and it's good and it's healthy. Do it.
And I showed you, I do everything else but the actual video.
Yeah.
Because I'll come to my computer and I'll sit here to do something and I'll be like, okay, well, I can't, I'm sort of hitting a roadblock, so I'll work on this thing.
Yep.
And I'll work on, okay, how am I going to advertise this video? What am I going to do for the thumbnail?
Yeah.
And I'll research how to do really good thumbnails and stuff like that. And then I'll be like, okay, cool. I'll build something. I'll throw it together. And it's like, perfect.
Yeah.
This is exactly what
But didn't make the video.
I just don't.
Because the hardest part is making the video.
The editing isn't even the hard part.
No, it's the sitting in front of the camera and doing it. Absolutely is the hardest part, but you can get there. But all right, man, let me let you go because I got to get ready for work. And yeah, I appreciate you coming on, and let's do more of this.
Yeah, well, you let me know.
Yeah, I think it'll be simple. How about this? You put out a YouTube video that we can discuss here together, and people can come on the show and discuss about it.
Okay.
That's the next time we have a conversation.
There we go.
On the show, obviously.
Nice shirt, by the way.
I know, nice shirt. We didn't plan this, just so you know. We did not plan this. But I was like, I'm having Saurus on. I should wear a shirt. So, yeah, man. But I'll do the whole YouTube outro thing for the YouTube guys. If you are watching on Twitch and missed some of the show, it will be on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit like, subscribe. Check the links below for Saurus as well. And yeah, he's not a WoW streamer. He's a Star Citizen guy still. So make sure you check out his stuff, and his link for his YouTube channel will be there. So keep an eye out for something new there in the future. You know, maybe some topics, some interesting Star Citizen topics that he feels passionately about. All right. So guys, we'll catch you later. Have a wonderful one, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Have a good one, guys.